everybody. Let's do a book haul. Okay, I went to TJ Maxx and Barnes & Noble after school. I went to TJ Maxx because I needed a new planner, but I also wanted to check out their book section because I've been, oh my goodness, my dog is barking or doing something in the kitchen. I'm a couple rooms away from the kitchen, but I can just hear him, so hopefully it's not too loud for you. But anyways, I went to TJ Maxx because I need to get a new planner, and I did find one. Very pretty. And then I also checked out the book section. So the first 4 books that I'm going to show you are from TJ Maxx. Okay, first, I found None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. It is celebrating her 45th birthday at the hot new local pub. Popular podcaster Alex Summer crosses paths with an unassuming woman called Josie Fair. Josie, it turns out, is also celebrating her 45th birthday. They are, in fact, birthday twins. A few days later, Alex and Josie bump into each other again, this time outside Alex's children's school. Josie has been listening to Alex's podcast and thinks she might be an interesting subject for her series. She tells Alex, on the cusps of great changes in her life. Josie appears to be strange and complicated, and although Alex finds her unsettling, she cannot quite resist the temptation to keep going on the project. Slowly, she starts to realize that Josie is hiding some very dark secrets, and before she knows it, Josie has entered her life and her home. But as quickly as she had arrived, Josie Fair disappears. Only then does Alex discover that Josie has left a terrible and terrifying legacy in her wake, and that Alex has become the subject of her own true crime podcast, with her life and her family's lives in grave danger. I've seen people talk about this, not so much recently, but I think it's because it was an older release, so I will end up putting this on my little wheel that I showed for the backlist. And then next I got The House in the Grillian Sea. And it says, Linus Baker leads a quiet, solitary life. As a caseworker in the department in charge of magical youth, he spends his days overseeing the well-being of children in government-sanctioned orphanages. When Linus is unexpectedly summoned by extremely upper management, he's given a curious and highly classified assignment to travel to the Marsyas Island orphanages where 6 dangerous children reside and determine whether or not they're likely to bring about the end of days. All of these are paperbacks, the ones that I got from TJ Maxx. The None of This Is True was $8.99. This one was $9.99. Then I got The Perfect Marriage, which says Sarah Morgan is a successful defense attorney in Washington, D.C. As a named partner at her firm, life is going exactly how she planned. The same cannot be said for her husband, Adam. He's a struggling writer who has had little success in his career, and he tires of his and Sarah's relationship as she is constantly working. Out in the secluded woods at the couple's lake home, Adam engages in a passionate affair with Kelly Summers. But one morning, everything changes. Kelly is found brutally stabbed to death, and now Sarah must take on her hardest case yet, defending her own husband, a man accused of murdering his mistress. That sounds interesting. This one was $6.99. And then lastly, at TJ Maxx, I found All the Light We Cannot See, which says, Marie-Laurie LeBlanc lives with her father in Paris near the Museum of Natural History where he works. When she is 12, the Nazis occupy Paris and father and daughter flee to the walled citadel of Saint Malo, where Marie-Laurie's reclusive great-uncle lives in a tall house by the sea. With them, they carry what might be the museum's most valuable and dangerous jewel. In a mining town in Germany, Werner Pfing, an orphan, grows up with his younger sister, enchanted by a crude radio they find that brings them news and stories from places they have never seen or imagined. Werner becomes an expert at building and fixing these crucial instruments and is enlisted to use his talent to track down the resistance. Marie-Laurie and Werner, from warring countries, both have lost many people they loved, come together in St. Malo, which illuminates the ways against all odds people try to be good to one another. 10 years in the writing, All the Light We Cannot See is a magnificent, deeply moving novel from a writer whose sentences never fail to thrill, which is a quote from the Los Angeles Times. And this one was $8.99. Okay, and then I went to Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Noble, I got 7 books. I got 2 paperbacks, and Barnes & Noble has been running a sale where I got 2 hardbacks. Oh my goodness, it's Friday and I'm ready for a long weekend. Monday is the 25th, Memorial Day, and so I don't have work that day, which will be nice. But I got 2 paperbacks, and Barnes & Noble was running a sale where you buy one for all. Did I say paperbacks again? I got 2 hardbacks. Oh my goodness, I don't know. But I got 2 hardbacks. They're running a sale where you buy a hardback and you get a second for half off. And then they also had some particular, specific sales for paperbacks where you could buy one, get one half off as well. But as far as the paperbacks go, I got This Story Might Save Your Life. And it says, Benny Abbott and Joy Moore host one of the most beloved podcasts in the world. Each week, they delight listeners with a different, against all odds survival story, gleefully finding the weird, life-affirming humor in near-death experiences. Since their first episode on Joy's experience with severe narcolepsy, they've been the best friends everyone wants to befriend. And thanks to the meticulous management of Joy's husband, Xander, they've built a lucrative empire. The problem is, their next survival story may be their own. When Benny arrives at Joy and Xander's home one morning to record, he finds shattered glass in an empty house. The one clue shedding light on the couple's disappearance is the incomplete, previously unseen first draft of Joy's memoir. Benny will stop at nothing to find them, even as the police soon zero in on him as their prime suspect. Millions of devoted listeners think they know the real Benny and Joy. But as the hours tick by and the odds seem increasingly stacked against Joy and Xander being found alive, not even the most devoted fans can guess the terrible secrets their favorite famous BFFs have hidden from the world and from each other. And then the other hardback that I got is Yesteryear. I've seen a lot of people talk about this one. I've heard mixed reviews. Some people loved it and some people have not liked it. So we'll see how I feel. But the description says, Natalie Heller Mills is a traditional American woman, a beautiful wife and mother who sells her pioneer lifestyle of raw milk and farm fresh eggs to her millions of social media followers. Her farmhouse is charmingly rustic, her husband a handsome cowboy, her 6 children, each more delightful than the last. So what if there are nannies and producers behind the scenes? Her kitchen is hiding industrial-grade fridges and ovens, and her husband is the heir to a political dynasty. What Natalie's followers don't know won't hurt them. And the angry women, the privileged Ivy League coastal elite haters who call her an anti-feminist, they're sick with jealousy because Natalie isn't simply living the good life. She's building an empire. Until one morning she wakes up in a life that isn't hers. Her home, her husband, her children, they're all familiar but wrong. Her kitchen is warmed by a sputtering fire rather than electricity. Her children are dirty and strange, and her soft-handed husband is suddenly a competent farmer. Carved into the wooden threshold is the date, 1855. Just yesterday, Natalie was curating photos of homemade jam for her Instagram, and now she's expected to haul firewood and hand-wash clothes until her fingers bleed. Has she become the unwitting star of a ruthless reality show? Could it really be time travel? Is she being tested by God, by Satan? When Natalie suffers a brutal injury in the woods, she realizes 2 things. This is not her beautiful life, and she must escape by any means possible. A gripping, electrifying novel that is as darkly funny as it is frightening. Yesteryear is a gimlet-eyed look at tradition, fame, faith, the grand performance of womanhood. So I think I'm going to be very interested in this one. Next I have A Fever Dream by Elsie Silver. This is a new release. I think it just recently got released. Here's some of the art. So excited to read this one, but this one says, professional bull rider Emmett Bush is not looking for love. He's looking for a paycheck to save his family's farm from bankruptcy. So when he agrees to be the leading man on a hot new reality dating show, Romance Ranch, he's already decided it's all one big performance. Until Julia Silva walks onto his property, smart, snarky, beautiful, and off limits in more ways than one. As the location consultant on set and the little sister of his most bitter professional rival, she's the last woman who should pique his interest. Julia has been warned about Emmett. She knows better than to fall for his cocky swagger, broad shoulders, and smoldering good looks. Plus, she's sworn off relationships. But as Julia and Emmett work together, mutual distaste grows into an unexpected connection and then something more. Soon they find themselves searching for excuses to spend time together out of reach of the cameras. Knowing glances, stolen kisses, secret rendezvous. Still, Emmett signed up to play the role of an eligible bachelor searching for the one. His family's land and legacy depend on him completing the show. The problem is he's already fallen in love, just not with a contestant. Okay, then we have Picking Daisies on Sundays, and it was the hand-trembling, heart-thumping kind of love that you weren't supposed to feel when you looked at your best friend. But it all ended when Levi didn't feel the same way, and Daniela Daisy Maria vowed to never see him again. 4 years later, there he is in a crowded West Village bar, just as perfect as ever. Maybe it's the lighting or the way his hair curls above his brow, but when he asks her to be his fake girlfriend for his sister's wedding, she can't bring herself to say no. But with old feelings resurfacing at every staged romantic interaction and stolen glance, she begins to wonder if maybe this time she should have protected her heart. Then we have First and Forever. They're sprayed edges, and they're like fireworks, little hearts. It's yellow and very cute. And these two were the buy one, get one half off. So that was a good deal. This one says, Duffy DeStefano loves three things: her dad, the family cat, and Minneapolis Coyote football. So after she gets booted out of a game and becomes the internet's villain following an awful encounter with the team's beloved mascot, she is disgruntled, to put it mildly. Eager to clear the air, Duffy agrees to an interview on a hit morning show. She doesn't expect a co-guest to join her, especially not the Coyotes' star tight end. When MVP Connor Cunningham gets tasked with damage control to help his team out of a PR nightmare involving its mascot, he thinks that means saying a few words on the Coyotes' behalf. Instead, he finds himself in a highly amusing verbal sparring match with a recently wronged fan on live TV. Duffy pelts him with fiery jabs, but is also clearly well-versed in all things Coyotes, color him intrigued and attracted. The interview instantly goes viral, and the public is obsessed with them. A strong push from the Coyotes' PR team to ride the wave results in Connor asking Duffy out. Despite his distaste for PR stunts, he discovers that being with Duffy is much easier than he anticipated, and somehow it doesn't feel fake to him. The secret can only blow up in his face, but all he knows is that if he ruins things with Duffy, it'll be the greatest fumble of his life. Okay, and then we have The Mad Wife. Lulu Mayfield has spent the last 5 years molding herself into the perfect 1950s housewife. Despite the tragic memories that haunt her and the weight of exhausting expectations, she keeps her husband happy, her household running, and her gelatin salads the talk of the neighborhood. But after she gives birth to her second child, Lulu's carefully crafted life begins to unravel. When a new neighbor, Bitsy, moves in, Lulu suspects something darker lurks behind that woman's constant smile. As her fixation on Bitsy deepens, Lulu is drawn into a web of unsettling truths that threaten to expose the cracks of her own life. The more she uncovers about Bitsy, the more she questions everything she thought she knew. And soon others begin questioning her sanity. But is Lulu truly losing her mind, or is she on the verge of discovering a reality too terrifying to accept? Okay, that sounds very interesting. Lastly, we have Cat's People, which, I mean, the cover of this is beautiful. Nuria, a barista with a little resentment for the Crazy Cat Lady label, is a member of the Meow Yorkers, a group in Brooklyn that takes care of the neighborhood's stray cats. On her volunteering days, she starts finding post-it notes left by a secret admirer in that area where she feeds her favorite stray, a black cat named Cat. Like most felines, he's both curious and observant, so of course he knows who the notes are from. Nuria, however, is clueless. Are the notes from Colin, an author and self-professed hermit with a weakness for a good coffee? Are they from Lily, a young Georgia native searching for her long-lost half-sister? Are they from Omar, the beloved neighborhood mailman going through an early midlife crisis? Or are they from Bon, the grieving widower who owns Nuria's favorite bodega? When Cat falls ill, these 5 strangers find themselves bonding over the desire to care for him and discovers that chance encounters can lead to a meaningful connections they've all been searching for. I don't know, I like cats, so I liked that one. But that was my book haul from the day. I do have a few more coming in from Amazon, but those won't be here until Sunday. I believe today's Friday. I think I mentioned that, but just in case. but that is my book haul. So I'm gonna continue reading, and I will catch you guys pretty soon.